It's like that. It's
So,
like that itchy,
yeah.
scratchy moment. Like you're never gonna see that episode again. And they flint scratchy. Whoever caught itchy, I can't remember with the order and everything. Welcome to another episode of Gaming Podcast, episode 76. We got a stack, a stack topics and everything. Steve Stranding too. What's happening here? Are we on the beach?
We should be on the beach because look, it's light out. The sun's out. Oh my goodness.
There's no physical disc included, baby. Let's go.
No, we're doing good. Daylight savings time has saved me. I mean, we're feeling good. The lights out. Oh man,
7 degrees.
Yeah, we got
patio weather.
Yeah.
A great Death Stranding panel this weekend. Like everything's coming up Millhouse.
Yeah. all the other things.
Love it. Steve on the beach though. How are you doing?
I wish I was on the beach. No, I'm doing all right. You know, and just kind of just keep working, keep chilling, making content, all that stuff. So cool. Doing good.
Awesome. Caboose.
Doing good as well. You know, enjoying the warmer weather starting to roll in. Getting ready for it to, you know, let's get into those 20s. You know what I mean? Let me walk on the t-shirt. I'm waiting. I'm ready. But you know what though? As soon as it hits like 10 degrees, people are out in their shorts.
Oh, people are out. Yeah,
you know, it's like
people are jogging on the
beach. We're built
beach.
Different, man. We're built different.
Yeah, people are jogging on this blizzard.
But yeah, no, the seasonal depression's starting to fade away. We're all feeling great. We're feeling good. Sun's out.
Yeah, I'm glad that the weather's starting to kind of like listen in.
There you go.
That and it's also March break, so that's why there's more people out right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I forgot what that was. I'm like, March what?
Yeah.
I haven't had that for a long time.
Break?
What? Camille, how about yourself?
I am doing good. You know, doing the whole taking a shower, then going outside as though it's 20 plus degrees with my hair wet. And it is not. So hopefully I don't
going
get
outside, showering.
What? You shower
you
with wet hair? You have wet hair, you may go outside.
Does this run on Unreal Engine 5 or
RTX on?
Touch the sand on the beach. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm really excited. I think like it's Death Stranding, man. Death Stranding 2. That's all I can think about.
DS2.
Yes. That is our second topic here. I also do have the trailer if you want, but it's like 10 minutes long. For the love of God, unless you want to look at it.
Oh God, it's
I mean, I personally have watched it 4 or 5 times. So
4 or 5 times.
I'm just saying.
I can watch.
I mean, okay,
You know
well,
what's
that's
weird? I actually haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it either. Oh, I do have it. I have it lined up, but it's our second topic. I figured, you know, well, this is. Yeah, because you know Xbox has some kind of handheld going on here. What's that? They're gonna be teaming up with another not developer, but another OEM as well, like Asus or MSI. What's going on here?
Well, I mean, it's not the first time, right? They did that with the Logitech. Was it the G Cloud gaming thing?
That was just more of like here's our app.
Yeah, I don't think there was an official partnership.
Well, it was
but
a partnership because they had like I remember at oh my gosh conventions. Name some conventions.
CES,
PAX,
E3,
PAX.
Oh.
At PAX East, they had a whole booth that was like Xbox Logitech. So they were definitely together, and I think. You know, even though like they might not have worked on like the hardware portion of that, I think they probably learned a lot of things coming out of that, which is good, right? Like it's not like they're going into it blind, and I think partnering with a company that's used hardware on that realm of things makes sense.
Yeah, you do the OS. We will take care of the hardware and everything.
right?
yeah, which is that's been Microsoft's kind of MO for a while, even before they started like kind of making their own laptops. Here's the thing. So if we're going to get the partnered sort of handheld by the end of this year, supposedly that's the current rumor, and then if we're going to be getting a handheld at the same time as the new Xbox console in 2027, I think this two-phase strategy might actually work. Because if you think about it, Steam Deck 2, we don't know when that's going to come out. Valve is always super secretive, and I would imagine they would be secretive until all of a sudden it's just announced being like, hey, Steam Deck 2 is out now. Like, wait, what? And Nintendo, they've got the Switch 2 out, obviously, so they've got their own plans. PlayStation, they've already said that they are working on a handheld, but it's a several years out, so probably around the same time as the Xbox will probably be releasing their proper one. I think this is a great way for Xbox to test out the market, test out what the software to make sure that that's working fine for their partner, so that when they make the hardware, basically it's gonna get better. And also it allows them to be able to get ahead of their own hardware, so we're not having to wait like 3 years before we can actually be able to get a proper handheld from Xbox, which is a risk, because we don't know what the handheld market's going to be like with 2-3 years. At least the handheld PC gaming market. I mean, the Switch 2 is always in its own category regardless. And I think that's what's going to carry over more interest into the PC handheld gaming category. But we don't know if like Steam Deck 2 is going to fail, or if our Asus and Lenovo and MSI is going to be like, nah, we don't like this anymore. It doesn't make any money, so we're going to stop making them. So it's a great way to test it out, get on the market first with something, and then actually do a proper one in 2 years when they've actually kind of like tested out the waters. I think it's probably the better strategy out of all of them right now.
I think in an ideal sense, it would be a really good and smart strategy for Xbox to get ahead and just have their own kind of branded handheld on the market, especially in the conversation of, you know, Switch being out there. But I feel like they're already doing this. I feel like anytime, like, even if you go to the conventions now and you see Asus there and they have the ROG Ally and the ROG Ally X, Xbox is right next to them in terms of the branding. It's just, you know, you're dealing with the Asus shell almost.
But that's what they want to change. They don't want any of the bloatware that's basically like that Asus or MSI or Lenovo would want. They would like the hidden aspect. They want their own OS. Whether we're going to get their
that's
Xbox
what I mean.
OS
Like
on it.
The report even says the software inherently would still be running Windows 11 and then a PC Game Pass. To me, it doesn't even sound like they're fully committing to an Xbox UI. It just sounds like they're just rehashing some of what's already out there on the market, and that doesn't really drive it.
I think the key is like an optimized Windows for handheld, because that is something that none of the manufacturers have been able to do just yet. Because it's just Windows 11, and Windows 11 is terrible for handhelds. So they can get an optimized version of either Windows moving, because I figured we're not going to get an Xbox OS until we get the actual handheld. So if they can have at least some sort of optimized version of like the game bar, the software, and it includes the ability to be able to adjust the TDP, the graphics RAM, and all that stuff, all the stuff that like say the Asus Armory would come into play, or stuff you can be able to do within Steam OS, like that stuff is something that if you can do that natively within the operating system, because the biggest problem with PC gaming handhelds right now, other than Steam Deck, is literally Windows. And if they can have an optimized version of Windows for that, it may not be Windows 11 mobile, it may not be its own official version, but at least something to be able to kind of get rid of the bloatware and the excess problems that people have with Windows.
The only concern that I have in that regard is like, you're saying the right things, and if they're able to iron out those kinks, I feel like they can absolutely have like a really good piece of hardware. It's just how enticing is it to somebody who doesn't understand all of the jargon, who isn't as well versed into it, when they're just looking at what's already available on the market, what you can grab right now, versus here's this thing that and then you got to wonder, like, what's the price going to look like? Are they going to be competitive with the ROG Ally, with the Steam Deck, or is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? Like that's gonna all come into play into terms of like what's the consumer demand going to look like. It's just there's so much that's available right now, and there's so much that people can look at and grab. And even then, like for me, I would say personally, I think the ROG Ally is much better than the Steam Deck.
I agree.
But so many people just see the Steam Deck, they see the branding, and they go for the Steam Deck, and that's just been available and it's been out there for so long. And the ROG Ally, it's built that consumer trust over however many years now that they've had it on the market. So putting Xbox into the mix, I don't know how much it's going to entice people when you talk about those kind of little fixes that we need to refine this sort of hardware.
Moreover, for what you're saying, because I think I completely agree with you, Caboose. I think like when the conversation of Xbox is making a handheld, to me at least, someone who's invested in the Xbox ecosystem, the thing that goes off in my head is great. It's a plug and play handheld. All it is log in, boom, there's your library, you're up and running. to know that I'm now I'm dealing with Windows, now I'm dealing with PC Game Pass. It's like my library doesn't inherently carry over. This is just the ROG Ally, and with a few extra few extra steps taken away. I think that branding it Xbox is great because it does give those people who want like the consumer friendly option out there a pathway forward. But I think it will still be a struggle for Microsoft to come out and be like, again, this isn't your Xbox in a handheld. This is an Xbox handheld.
And then you're running the risk. Sorry, go ahead, Camille. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say then you're running the risk of like kind of what happened with the PlayStation Portal, right? Where a general consumer is like, handheld PlayStation, and then they see all the different hoops that they have to jump through, and they're like, well, this just isn't what I thought it was going to be.
And I think that's exactly what it is, right? I think there's so much risk, even if Xbox were to go inherit Xbox OS with the device, there's so much risk in them doing that, on failing on sales for that I don't think they would take that risk. And that's why I think it would be more on the side of, Windows OS, it's still like, it's still running like what you know. We're just putting that Xbox branding in there to hopefully compete a little bit with Steam, but it does take them out of the equation of dedicating too much to it, right? And I think like that would be the smart move. I don't think it's a smart move to go fully handheld, especially in a market that is dominated by the Nintendo Switch and Steam Deck right now.
But here's the thing: it isn't a risk for them. It isn't like putting out a brand, like a partner branded like Xbox handheld. It isn't a risk because they're just supporting it by basically allowing them to be able to put like an Xbox button on there with a little bit of optimization, like as what they basically, this is their early R&D of what is going to be an actual proper Xbox handheld. Like,
isn't it a risk for the brand?
But no, it's not a risk for the brand. It's not, because it's basically it's going into their brand of Xbox everywhere. And if they can be able to license, if they can license
doing that,
if they can license their doing that. If they can license their Xbox, basically the Windows software, whatever they're able to do with an OEM, if they're able to do that for everybody, whether like Asus, like MSI and Lenovo, all the people that are the companies that are making handhelds already, it is low risk for them to be able to be on those handhelds. Like until they actually make a proper handheld, that's where the risk comes in, whether or not people are going to buy it. Yeah, remember, this is a niche of a niche. We're talking about like such a niche of people that are playing that are already on handhelds, and then you're talking about even a smaller niche of that. So to me, I don't see them as like this just is like kind of, it's just basically allowing them to be able to put the Xbox logo on the thing. Like that's
wouldn't you rather they not like dip their toes in the pool and just wait until they can actually get in? Like just wait until it's warm enough, wait until you're ready to get the actual handheld that you want to.
But they don't have, but they wouldn't be able to do any like proper like testing with it. Like this is basically an early release version. This is the early release version of an Xbox handheld.
From their partners, they don't need to do that early release. It would make no sense for them to put their brand on the line. Plus, they would still have to pay into a portion of it. So there is a risk, especially when we're seeing Xbox with what they think it would, or what they're kind of hoping would be successes for them, not pan out that way. They are in a space where they can't take that risk, and they have to minimize that risk that they have. And I think
we're not talking about like a long-term risk here. It's literally a 2-year risk. It's basically just putting it out there.
That's long-term for Xbox.
No,
Xbox pivots every year.
No. Within the hardware side, it's not a risk because we're already talking like 7-8 years between console cycles. It's not a risk for them. Like it's literally a 2-year R&D project that they're able to get proper user testing to see what works, what doesn't, so that they can be able to integrate that into their Xbox handheld. I will admit, this could 100% be a total failure. I just think that by getting themselves into the market now is a much better strategy than say PlayStation, that we're waiting 3-4 years before we even get a new handheld. And even then we don't know what the market's going to be like at this point. They could basically, Xbox could put their hand in there, get a little bit of the short-term games out of it, and then basically the handheld market's going to die. Then they don't need to release a handheld anymore. But PlayStation would have invested a lot more in R&D in order to be able to make theirs that they didn't even get a chance to release if the handheld gaming market is dead. So there's less, like the way if you look at it from a broad context sort of side of things from the entire industry, minus Nintendo, really this is a very minimal risk in regards to like in comparison to the other risks that they're taking, that Xbox is taking in their own strategy by not investing in their hardware as much, by going full in on Game Pass, by going full in on Xbox Anywhere. This is an Xbox. Like that's far more riskier than just basically allowing a company to be able to create a handheld and just to include their software updates and an Xbox button. Like that to me is the least riskiest thing that they've ever done in the past few years.
I think that just ignores the market share that Xbox, the brand, has right now, where they are being trounced by PlayStation. Yeah. They're being trounced by Nintendo, Steam, every avenue that you can really see, unfortunately. And right now, I think that, to your point, the R&D is already being done by Asus. They could go in and improve the PC Game Pass UI. They could improve everything that's on Windows 11 right now without any kind of inherent damage by releasing this Xbox hardware. Because to me, and the thing that worries me the most is that they come out with this, it underperforms, and then Satya's like, never again. That was the biggest win.
It underperforms. It would get better over time. Windows basically kept getting.
That's the hope. That's in a case where Xbox is selling Xbox devices, selling Game Pass, and this is the thing with this whole news and this rumor. It's confusing to me. I feel like this time last year we were trying to figure out what Xbox's strategy is, and then they come out with, oh, it's not hardware. Like obviously it's not hardware. We're not trying to win on hardware. But then why are you developing
There's only 4
hardware?
games first, and now it's everything.
So I think they like everything that we're seeing with Xbox. I still think it is them trying to look for opportunities to win, and I don't think.
I don't think that is. This is it. I don't think.
But then make it make sense. Make it make sense. If you're not focusing on hardware, why are you dedicating research and development
because
at a time when your brand is not doing well in the market, where you're pulling projects left and right? Make it make sense then.
No, but it's another avenue. It's another financial.
And work with third parties to make Xbox Game Pass more accessible. The UI more accessible on those devices.
Well, no, I think you just have like to be focusing on like an OS and then update like what Steve said. Just update those current handhelds that are out now.
That's part of their plan. That's it's not going to be the only like. It's going to be like we'll just say for instance the Asus. Like if we're going to go with Asus as basically like put this new handheld that's coming out this year. That is not just that's the only plan that they've got. Like if they're gonna I could see this as basically that they're gonna license this out to as many handhelds as possible, still make their own, because like you say, make it make sense. This is just another financial avenue that they can go down. Like imagine, like it's even for us, we're all freelancers. We all have different sort of financial verticals in our own portfolio that we tap into all the time. Whether it's hosting, whether it's content creation. For me, it's also consulting. Like we all have those different avenues that we make money. And this isn't just another avenue for Xbox to make money. Is it a big, huge avenue for making money? Who knows? Right now, maybe not. But right now, they've got Game Pass. They've got all their games. They do have the hardware side. Microsoft isn't making any huge amount of money off of their own hardware, and they know that. Their business is software, and that is what Xbox is basically moving into. I'm not saying it's the best solution, and it's basically right now they're the only ones that are basically breaking out of the hardware or the console cycle that we've been sort of experiencing over the past like 3 decades. But they're at least trying something different. I'm not an apologist for Xbox. I'm just saying I see this as a low-risk strategy for right now. We'll see whether the second phase of this, if their actual handheld is going to benefit from the time that they have been spending with working with other partners on these updates to their own handhelds, including Xbox on Game Pass and stuff like that. Like if they could be able to incorporate all of their learnings into that handheld, it's only going to make the handheld stronger. And again, it's a niche within a niche. Not everybody's going to be buying an Xbox handheld.
This feels almost like an upscaled version of what you see with a lot of games as a service titles that come out these days, right? They come out unfinished, half-baked, but there's like a spark there that keeps some people in, right? Destiny had the raids that was like, we're hanging on by a thread. And then all of a sudden, Bungie starts to listen and incorporates all these things that should have been in the game in day one, and it turns into this kumbaya of everyone being like, they're listening. Oh my God, look how great they're doing. It's like, shouldn't we have had that from the start?
This is not even a games of service.
Wait. Who before this was asking for an Xbox handheld, because not I was not.
I think there are a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people that would like an Xbox handheld.
It takes. You can't order 5 or 6 of these to make. You have to order a good amount of units in order to make this and buy the chips, which is going to be expensive. And the only way I could see this make sense if this goes into what the next iteration of the Xbox is. If the next Xbox is some sort of hybrid, this is the only way.
So this is exactly what I was trying to point out, right? Is it feels like this handheld right now that they're making that according to the rumors might come out this year, whatever it might be. It feels like they're almost sending it out to fail. They're almost sending it out to say, here's our test run. But hold on. They're sending it out as like, here's our test run. Like literally, again, like I said, dipping their toes in the water. Let's see how people respond to this. I have a feeling they know they didn't get it 100% right, but they want to see what they did get right. So then whatever the next iteration is, like you said, Camille, the next console,
I feel like this is like the Series S in a way.
I really
the next Series S.
I really do think that while hardware right now isn't the immediate plan for success at Xbox, at some point or another, it's got to become important to sell some consoles. It's
also a marketing mess. Just imagine they come out later this year. It's the E3 or whatever, Summer Game Fest, and they're like, "Listen, Xbox handheld,
Nintendo Switch."
Yeah, it's crazy. But Xbox handheld is coming out for $5.99. Boom! Everyone's kind of like, "Ooh, okay, this is kind of cool." You know, this is interesting. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like, "No, in 2027, that's when you get the real one."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, this is not okay. You're saying
Steve is gonna, like, you're saying is on the beach is gonna kill us.
I'm fucking pissed off right now. You all fucking pissed me off. Like, because this is not.
Get out of Satya's pocket and face reality, Steve.
He's going to Satya right now. He's going to Satya right
make
now.
him rage quit the stream.
Yeah, the only way though.
Fucking fuck. All right, let me talk. Let me talk.
There's nothing in Steve. You've been talking. There's nothing in this that makes sense though, Steve. I'm sorry. Like, you just have to look at it objectively, and I'm hearing what you're saying, and I get that you may think that this is not a loss, but in the business world, a loss is a loss.
Yeah,
if
it's still
not making profit, it's a loss. And they would have to sell probably a decent amount of these in order for it to make a profit in the year that we know we're probably getting the Nintendo Switch 2, in a year when people are probably going to want to get a Steam Deck to play GTA 6, right? So, like, I just don't think it's not the right move. And the only way, I'm sorry, Steve, the only way they win out of this is if this R&D is all going into whatever the next console.
This is exactly what they were. This is exactly what they want to do. This is not games as a service. This is not like it's a finished product that they're basically just putting out there, being like, "This is an early access."
Why would you release
this is early access,
an unfinished product when your brand is struggling right now?
It's not the
quality.
It's early access. That's what this is. This is the first time that we've ever that any hardware manufacturer. It does make, if you think about it from a software standpoint, like we'll just say Baldur's Gate. We'll say Baldur's Gate 3 for an example. Okay, they released an early access basically for about 2 years, just the first act. They allowed the players to play the game, allow them to be able to provide feedback of what's happening, so that the developers can be able to make their game that much better. So by the time that it released, it became, or they already had a built-in audience that basically they were allowed them to be able to become as big and as huge as it did when it released in 2023.
Steve, you know what else
Microsoft
came out?
gives it
You know
to
what
me
other
for free?
hardware
That's fine.
came
That's
out?
what I was
You know what
wondering.
other hardware came out as early access? Stadia. Where's Stadia now?
Oh no!
Because Google didn't put any investment into it.
They put investment into Stadia. There was so much marketing into Stadia. They were buying out studios.
Stadia was supposed
now?
to be the next, like,
it was.
They were looking at. They were looking at. They wanted to have the return. They were looking at. They wanted to have the return short term.
Actively developing games for the long term for Stadia to be successful.
Yeah,
but with AAA studios for the long term, we're talking 5-10 year deals for the long term to make Stadia successful, and we don't have Stadia right now.
And you know what's so funny too?
I get what you're saying, Steve.
You know what's so funny too?
No, it doesn't sound like you guys are even getting any fucking thing that I'm saying at all.
Steve, with Baldur's Gate, It's like 80. I don't even know how much it is, but it's not the price of a hardware, right?
No,
I get
but
the
it's
early access thing.
I'm not
but what
saying it's comparable. It's comparable in that sense. I'm talking about the actual plan, like the strategy of what they were going with. You had to pay for the software. You had to pay for the game in order to be able to get early access. This wasn't like you're getting it for free. They were actively like trying to be able to get people to be able to play their game so they know what they were doing, and it became a huge behemoth. I'm not saying that this is the be all end all of their hardware strategy. This is 100% allowing them to be able to figure out and test all of their software, their potential OS integrations, so that other OEMs can be able to have access to this, so that their next generation hardware can be able to have a proper access, so we can get stuff like Steam, Epic Games Store, BattleNet onto a proper Xbox console, while also developing for their own Xbox handheld.
And so
this is a 2-year plan.
So Steve,
I
understand this. What you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying all the right things. I'm thinking of the consumer who has to fork over the $600 for the product. For them, what's the worth? What's the value in getting this? If the idea and the concept here is, well, we're going to make this even better in 2 years.
It would all depend on that price. If it's a cheaper price, then
if it's cheaper than anything out there on the market, then yes,
I will. I will eat my words. If it's like the same price as like an Ally X, where it's like $1,000.
Exactly.
If it's that price, then that is absolutely like basically just negating all of their entire audience for that.
But
100%.
But you're asking them to double dip twice.
In 2 years.
In 2 years.
That's never happened.
It doesn't just morph into the new console.
I think what we all agree on is we all don't know. We don't know.
We don't know exactly.
I think we can all agree that Xbox would be in a much better position if they came out this year and they said, this is the Xbox handheld, Xbox UI, your library comes over day one.
Yes.
That would be a much better product that I think we can all agree on, right?
Yeah, that's a way
I would
better
agree
proposition.
with that, yes.
And
that's
it's what people want
like,
right now.
Yes, I think
you
as
beat out
consumers, that's what you need.
PlayStation on their attempt at something handheld, and you put something on the market that's almost exactly what consumers have been wanting right now. A way to play their Xbox games, their next-gen games, on the go, on their handheld devices, on a plane, in a car, like not on the driver's seat of a car. Don't play games and drive.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Passenger princess, you're good to go. But yeah, like a way to play these games on the go, right? Like that's what people are wanting right now. And if you have an Xbox branded handheld, but it's just Windows and it's almost exactly like what's on the market already, it's just, well, what's the value proposition there? Unless, and this is why, we're all speculation. This is all like, we don't know. Unless obviously it hits the market and it's lower in lower in price and has similar or even better specs than what's already available.
This is why I thought
like the $300, $400 mark.
Yeah, which is what I thought that they were. But I thought that's what they were doing. They said
that would be
very
insane.
similar to the Lenovo Legion Go S, which is their cheaper. The Legion Go is cheaper version because it is a Steam OS, and that is running at about base. I think what they said, like Steve, you would know, that's about $500. I think was what they were shooting for that one. Yeah. So that is what I was like thinking. Like that's what they were going for. They're not going for the high-end handheld right now. Like it's yes, it is a lot to be able to have someone to be able to pay into this market. But sorry, I feel like y'all ganged up on me, and that's why I got the super defensive. So that's why I'm still on edge right now. But it's not that I don't disagree with y'all. I just think that this is I think the thing I will stand on, the hill I'll stand on, is that I think this is a far less riskier business idea than what they've done already. Like they've done they risked so much by jumping off the console cycle train. Yeah. And I feel like that this is the least worrisome strategy that they have right now. And I actually thought that it was legitimately a good one, because if we want a good Xbox handheld, this I feel like is a great way to do it, because they can test everything out now. Yes, it's putting people have to invest into it right now, but it's already a niche within a niche anyway. It's like the only people are really going to have it like basically it may hurt a little bit is basically the people who are producing this hardware. That's why Xbox isn't investing a lot into it, because they're not investing any hardware cost in that. They're probably paying a little bit to be able to have to get them to be able to like to work with a partner exclusively. But we know that they're going to work with all the other partners eventually at some point anyway. So for them, it's only going to grow from here. This is a first step of that of a multi-step plan. And knowing and understanding the context and the insight of what I've know about of the industry, that is where I see that as the least riskiest move that Xbox is making right now.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. If nothing might even come out.
They may be like, wait a second, never mind.
They're like, you know what? That's not. But you know what is coming out?
Satya's gonna. Sorry, Marcel. Satya's gonna watch this and be like, actually, you know what? Pull the plug on this one.
It's breaking up friendships.
Yeah.
We're out. We're out. Yeah.
I didn't think about it this way. Actually, never mind.
Yeah, but you know what is one thing that Caboose is so excited for?
Oh yeah, baby.
Yes, let's go. 10 minutes. 13 seconds.
Damn beach.
Nap.
Brought to you by Jeff.
No,
by
okay.
Jeff, by the way.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
all
I did watch. It looks pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Damn
right.
straight.
Okay.
When you see that open world, you're like, oh, he cooked with that Decima engine.
Yeah. He definitely.
Wait, can you guys hear anything or
stepped
no?
it up. I can't
hear
hear anything.
Oh no.
No.
Well,
sound.
I don't know what to tell you.
God.
Well,
I mean, has everyone here?
We can just
watched
talk
it?
about.
Steve Saylor said
I
he
haven't
hasn't
watched it
right?
either, but I could just. We can
kind of
talk.
We can just let it run
reaction.
while
Just
we
let it rip
talk.
and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Let's let it run while we talk.
So we
I
got
mean,
Gil over here. He's a new character.
Solid
Oh
Snake.
my gosh.
2025 is a solid year for Neils. We got Neil in Star Wars. We got
Is
Neil
that-
in Death Stranding.
Why does she look like Jennifer Garner here? This lady.
I don't know. A little Jennifer Garner, a little
Yeah.
Can I
Elliot
say
Page,
too?
a little Elliot Page.
He's got
Elliot Page. That's it. Yes.
Yeah, he's got
Oh.
Guillermo del Toro in these projects. He's put in why can't I remember the director's name now? Who made the Mad Max films?
George Romero.
George Miller.
George Miller. Thank you.
Yeah, George Miller's in here now as a character. Like all these
Starman.
auteurs, he's like Kojima's got to at some point make a film, right? Like there is he's just
He
always
may as
gonna be
well
his
at this
world.
point.
He has to.
Like he's got to be directing something on the big screen at some point. I feel like
I feel like he'll be very, very invested with this Death Stranding movie that they're doing with A24.
yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be.
So,
Oh, God,
so
the goddamn
this whole
baby.
reveal came at South by
Friggin'
Southwest.
Yeah.
They had.
And that's another thing.
Norman-
Why there?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
I'm not
why?
surprised because I think that's very much Kojima's MO.
It's totally
he's
his
aspiring
style.
to be a
Look at that. Just
filmmaker.
hold on.
Jesus
Look at
Christ.
This
this.
looks
That's
so
gorgeous.
beautiful.
That
Gorgeous.
does look pretty great. though.
Also,
Oh my
Lou just
god.
looks so cute, a little older. Lou.
Yeah.
Dangling feet.
But
feet's
yeah,
there?
on this
Damn.
panel, it was Kojima, Norman Reedus. Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Troy Baker.
right? Yeah.
I forgot
Woodkid.
the other
Leah
artist.
Saydow or was
Yeah,
it?
no. It
No,
was,
it was Woodkid. The,
Woodkid. Thank you.
Okay.
Woodkid. And
He
see,
does the music for the trailer.
Yeah, he does
Awesome.
the. He's,
Oh,
he's-
okay.
Yeah, he does the whole music for the soundtrack. Can I? I love Death Stranding, but I found it hilarious that whenever there were questions about the plot, going to Troy or going to
Yeah.
Norman
were
Reedus,
like,
they're
Kojima?
like, Kojima, you want to take this one? You wanna... Kojima?
They have no idea. They have no idea what's
I
going
was
on here.
waiting
Let's be honest
for the
here.
host to just ask, like, so, like, previous interviews for Death Stranding 1, you guys said you didn't really know what was going on. How was that this time?
Can I
filming?
say though? Can I say for as funny as that is, I don't want it to get to a dangerous point where Kojima gets kind of a little
Like, too convoluted?
a little too confident, right? Like
That's
I don't
fair.
want it to. I don't want people because okay, we cannot deny he is one of like the gaming founding fathers. You know what I mean? Like
course.
you put like figureheads in video games on Mount Rushmore. Kojima it has to be there. Has to, no matter what. But I don't want it to get to a point where we're like Kojima is God. He cannot do wrong. Like there needs to be somebody either like in studio or at PlayStation or whatever it might be that like
But does there
levels
need to
him a
be?
little bit.
Does there
I
need to
I
be?
think
Because
there
I
does
think
because
a part
It's
of
his
being
own-
an
it's
artist
his
is
own
failing.
studio, though. That's the
he's-
thing.
He's an artist. He's an
Yeah.
auteur for sure. He's got a creative vision and he's doing something that's out there and it's very different and it challenges the audience. That's great.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, like you got to think about like, all right, it needs to be a little cohesive. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be like a through line that we can follow here.
I do agree with you.
There is.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that part of it is that yes, Death Stranding from a top level view, like a 1,000 foot view, you look at this, you look at this new trailer, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. If you play Death Stranding, and I'm just saying this like broadly, if you play Death Stranding, get all the way to the end, I do think that it is one of the more cohesive stories that he's ever told.
From Kojima, for sure.
Yes. Now,
the other part
of it is that I think that, yes, I do think that there should be someone with checks and balances in there, making sure that, yes, these games tell a story, but also serve the audience. I don't think you get to a point where Death Stranding is a franchise, quote unquote, with a sequel, and then also an orchestra that's going worldwide if it's not a commercial success. I really do think that it at least serves a broader audience. I think that it sold moderately well. It had a great relationship with 505 Games and then over on Game Pass and stuff like that for Xbox. I think that despite everything, and despite what we're seeing right now with ink cans and all this stuff, I think a lot of people are willing to forgive Kojima in terms of his out there-ness just to kind of experience whatever Death Stranding is.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying too with the cohesiveness. I think like that could really deter mainstream gamers from jumping into something like Death Stranding, and that we saw that with the first one, right? A lot of people were playing the game for like 10 hours and they're like, I'm still walking.
That is wild.
What is happening?
That's
This is
insane. Sorry, Camille.
I do think sometimes like we're so used to. Well, firstly, I think it is also very tough line to have someone to draw an artist back. To like within their guidelines, because then you could also have crappy games that don't make sense or that are limited because artists are limited. I don't know what happened to my camera, but I'm still talking.
You're okay.
I
just get concerned.
Want to finish. Wait.
Go ahead.
Continue. But then, like, you also have it where, yes, in Kojima's cases, you know, when I was playing Death Stranding 1, I'm like, I have no idea what's happening, and it was only like those last few hours where I was like, oh, I get it, right? And I think that's the whole part of being an artist. It's like you have to be willing to fail, and I think Kojima's okay with that. Like, I think we put him up on his pedestal as gamers, and you know, obviously because of what he's done for the industry. But when you look at what Kojima does, he still doesn't give two craps about what people think. And I don't think he's as afraid of failure as we may think he is.
Right. And again, good for him, and he's got the resume to prove himself for sure. It's just, for as funny as it is, and we get a good laugh, we get a good kick out of it, it concerns me when like the guy who's like one of your main antagonists in this project, or one of the main protagonists of the project is like, I don't know what the hell this thing is about. You know what I mean? Like they should
but
know.
But it's also
like
how they shoot it, right?
But for sure, I know that like video games it's all done very differently. But like after they play the game, or if they read the script, whatever, like there should be some way that like they've resonated with it. Like they should have some sort of connection or understanding of the story or the messaging in the story, because we are able to get something out of it, right? So like, is it just that they're not playing the game? Is it just that like they're not sitting there and watching the cutscenes or something? Like
it could be that.
Is Kojima not thoroughly explaining the vision here to them? Because like that's those are like just the, and I'm very minorly nitpicking. It all looks really good. I am looking. I joke a lot on the podcast. What the hell? I joke a lot on the podcast. I am looking forward to Death Stranding 2. Like, it definitely looks like they've stepped it up. And even just there is criticism that people had about the first game, right? It looks like in terms of action and open world, combat, traversal, all that stuff. It looks like they've really upped their game here.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that specifically. It's just, I don't want it to get so carried away on the plot that it's like it turns into one of those like, oh, you don't get it. Like it's like, well, I should be able to. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And I think one of the most important things when we start playing this and start critiquing this game is analyzing what Kojima's been able to do with all this time, because you have to remember that Death Stranding 1 came out relatively quick after he left Konami,
Yes.
founded Kojima Productions, used the Decima engine, a brand new engine that he's never touched before, got all this talent, and put this game out all in the span of, I would say, roughly 2 to 3 or 3 years.
I think it was
maybe
3 years.
4.
Yeah.
And sure, I totally agree. I think that there's a lot that that really resonated with me when it comes to Death Stranding. I like the story. I like that the use of the engine and stuff like that. But I will obviously say a lot of it is
bootleg
for general
bootleg.
audience.
So sick.
Bootleg Snake.
Oh yeah, love it.
Not bootleg Snake if
this
it's
is
coming
sick.
from the,
This is
original
apparently,
Snake.
I've read so many articles about this. Apparently, this actor is who Kojima has said, like, this guy is who I would cast to play Solid Snake in a movie.
Also,
I love that
there's
stuff.
many,
This is the kind of stuff I
This
love.
right there is
What
like one of
in
the
the
hardest images.
world?
Well, oh my god, I went into a deep dive remembering Cliff's
We're going to
character
Verdansk,
from
boys. Verdansk.
Mads Mikkelsen character, because remember in Death Stranding 1, the trailer where you see Mads Mikkelsen and he goes like that, and then you see the lightning
It
strike?
invokes the exact same.
The exact same, and I'm just like, I kind of want Cliff back, but I'm also liking the direction that they're going here with this.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really excited for that. I think what's really cool with the Metal Gear-ness of Death Stranding 2 in this trailer,
Like
is
this?
how people are
What?
seeing.
This gave me Pacific
What
Rim
are we
vibes.
even
Mechs.
doing
This was like,
right
are we doing
now?
Pacific Rim?
Kaiju.
How people
Kaiju
are like
fights.
drawing connections to the Metal Gear Solid 2 cover art to the Death Stranding 2 cover art. And I'm like, it would be wild if we go through Death Stranding 2 and then Konami's like, by the way, we have Kojima working with us again with
my
Metal
God.
Gear.
Yeah.
Oh
It's okay. The one last thing I want to touch on really quick, because we're seeing it on screen. For those who are listening, we're looking at the collector's edition for Death Stranding 2. We really, really, really have to get past this stupid trend of not putting the physical copy of the game in a collector's edition. I'm getting
Especially
sick and tired of an empty steel bookcase. I'm getting sick and tired of, I get this really cool collector's edition with a sick statue and all this extra content, and then a flimsy little pamphlet with my code for the video game.
I do
You know?
agree.
Like,
I do
And
Put
agree.
my
how
game
much compared to
in the
everything
collector's
else in
edition.
here is
like-
putting the disc. Like, it's
and
not
it
that
bothers
much.
me. It bothers me because like they know they can get away with it.
Yeah.
They know they can because they have. Like they did it with Spider-Man, and my stupid ass ended up buying 2 copies of the game so that I could put the disc in the damn steel book. All right, they know they can get away with it. I'm the problem. I'm admitting it, but like I need this to go away. I need this trend to die for like now. Like I want my disc in the collector's edition. I'm already dropping like $400-500 Canadian. I need to put down a second mortgage on my house just to get one goddamn collector's edition. Put my disc in the box.
I agree.
Okay.
Go off. Pop off.
Thank you.
Is this the only edition that gives you early access, by the way?
I believe so.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, there
What?
isn't like a digital deluxe thing?
There's a
my.
premium edition, but I don't remember seeing.
I doubt it's just collector's edition for the early access.
Maybe.
No way.
That will be
But they
nuts.
didn't at the panel. They never talked about any other edition. They're like, they just pointed this edition gives you early access.
I believe that there was a leak beforehand that talked about a premium edition and then the collector's edition. So
Yeah.
maybe the premium edition just never existed. But I saw there being like retail.
Yeah,
listings
digital
of cheaper-
deluxe edition includes the full game 48-hour
Okay.
early access.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, there you go. Woo.
The other thing I wanted to go back on, just because I was rattling off thoughts, was like in regards to like how quickly he put out Death Stranding. There were a lot of concessions made in terms of scope. Like you're exploring the open world. There's not a whole lot to do. You are kind of just doing the same thing of delivering packages and stuff. Just based off this, albeit it's a 10-minute trailer, but you get so much more context to exactly like what you're doing. There's expanded, environmentals. You're dealing with weather. You're dealing with, different biomes. You're in the desert. You're in the forest and stuff like that. So I really do think that it's going to be interesting when we get to the release here. It's like, how much has Kojima been able to expand on Death Stranding and not make sure that it's just, we did it again. We just, it's delivery simulator, the game again. I hope that it's much more. I hope it's a lot of like the shooting mechanics are much more like refined and meaningful and stuff like that. Like I really do hope that it's just a well-rounded game this time around.
Maybe there's a stealth portion because you have Snake-esque.
I'd be down with that.
But I was actually concerned with that too, Steve, because at the start of this trailer, you do see they just go through those walking montages that is very reminiscent of the last trailer for Death Stranding 1. So I was like, oh man, are we back without all that gear that we collected in Death Stranding 1 to make this easier for us? And how long are we going to have to do that? And knowing Kojima, we'll probably have to be walking around for like a few hours in the game, which I think is a little bit of a disappointment, but hopefully there's payoff.
Well, I know, again, it's a 10-minute long trailer. I don't expect Marcel to scrub through this, but there is one section where it looks like it does take place in... No. He's walking through what looks like the environments of part 1. But then you start getting like a whole bunch of other ones, like the desert, or even the city where you see like the storm, the sandstorm come in. But then you also see stuff like, you know, he's got like a different bike and he's riding on the monorail. It really does seem like maybe the context of this game isn't going to be, hey, we're doing minute jobs like delivery jobs. This is going to, I really do hope that they kind of do like a subversion, an expectation subversion, kind of like with Metal Gear Solid 2, where it is, hey, the first half an hour you are kind of just doing the same thing as Death Stranding 1, and then all of a sudden, boom, the other shoe drops, and it's like, oh, we're off to the races with a whole different kind of game.
We got kaiju fights.
We got kaiju fights.
Also with like the crew, the drawbridge crew, like I'm actually wondering if there's a whole nother side of the game we're not seeing where it's in the tar, because we're not seeing, if drawbridge is mostly in there and we see Fragile, what looks like she gets shot, which means that she would be able to go to the beach, right? Like she would, so I feel like, so the rest of the crew, I think, must be dead if they're able to do that too. So I wonder if we're going to see that aspect, because to me, and I think for a lot of people who play Death Stranding 1, that would actually be really interesting to explore that side of things more, because we don't really see in depth, because you just kind of disappear, and that's kind of it in Death Stranding 1. So I'm hoping that we do see more side of that. Also, like, can they just sell all of the jackets that the crew's wearing? And also,
they sold out already. It's sold out already. What do you mean?
Oh my gosh,
they sold out at Tokyo Game Show. It's sold out right away.
Jeez, they need more.
I know.
I need one.
We need the merch. We need the merch.
I need clothes, Kojima. Give me clothes.
The other thing that I want to point out quickly, Marcel, is, again, I really do feel like Kojima's going to be popping off with some commentary in here, because we didn't listen to the trailer with audio, but in the beginning they're talking about, you know, smuggling and people like across the Mexican to U.S. border, and then towards the end, women. And then towards the end, they're talking about like gun control laws and everything. I'm like, oh, well,
that's
we're getting spicy Kojima again.
I hope he's not going to be predicting again once they get, like, I hope his prediction doesn't come true, because you already did it last Death Stranding game.
I know.
We were the whole world was isolated. Now, like, what are you doing with this one?
Well, the whole question.
Are we all going to the beach? I can't swim.
The question he posed that Death Stranding 2 will ask gamers is, should we have connected in the first place?
No.
So that's very much social commentary for what's happening in the world right now. So it's just interesting if, like, hopefully he doesn't predict anything, because I don't think anyone on this earth can go through another trauma or just have things escalated more than they are right now. But it's just very interesting that for someone who obviously, I would argue, prior to Death Stranding, seems like very out of social commentary and political commentary, is kind of making his voice heard through these games in the series.
For someone who's not deep into Death Stranding, I would say this trailer clearly outdoes the first game. I seem like there's more, like, I hope there's more like action parts instead of just like, here's your box, let me go get a ladder now, I'll be right back, you know, type of thing. So it seems more appealing.
Hey, they got the dude that played Gilgamesh in Eternals in here. That was cool.
Damn.
They
did. Yeah, that's right. I saw him in the trailer as well. What was his name? Oh, I can't remember.
I
love that guy though. He's great. He's great.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out Doll Man. So.
Doll Man is so cool.
Little Alan Wake.
Madong Siok. I hope I'm saying that right. but he's in a lot. He is in
Yeah.
quite a bit, not just Eternals. He's yeah. He Train to Busan, plenty of
right.
films. Yeah.
Well, we have to just wait and see. Last topic is Sony's experimenting with AI-powered PlayStation characters. They an eternal Sony video of an AI version of Aloy in the Horizon Forbidden West has leaked. And then another video is gone, of course. So, first of all, how does the actress? I guess she must have just signed it, not really knowing or with knowing, or I believe it was like as close as it is. Or
it sounded like it was just a generic text to speech. But maybe I wasn't listening carefully enough.
I don't know, but
no way. Like things like that would be like that. This is what we're warning you about. Like.
I mean, Disney does stuff like that already from back in the 90s. They're like, hey, we own your voice, so we could just put you anywhere now, type of thing. So I was like, that was the one thing that Robin Williams was against.
That's right.
With the genie and everything. So. Any thoughts? This kind of reminded me of because someone actually put it here. It did remind me of Milo. Remember Milo from like the Xbox?
The Kinect.
Yeah, the Kinect era. Yeah, the Kinect boy. Yeah, that's right.
Well, Milo.
I don't know. My thoughts is just like, do we even need this? Like,
no.
What's
absolutely not.
What is this? Like, even if like it was like really intuitive or like what does this do for me?
What's in it for me?
I think the easy or. Yeah, there's the whole like, commentary from consumers or analysts for us to look at this and be like, this is kind of whatever. No one really wants this and everything. The other part of me is like, we don't really understand. Hi, Emily. We don't really understand.
I just saw like the last bit of that. I'm like,
she just did like a sneak mission and my white bar started to fill and then it just went back down.
She saw the Death Stranding cameo. She's like, all right, man.
We don't really understand like what the context of this was like in terms of like the corporate environment. So part of me is like, it doesn't really matter because this isn't supposed to be for us to look at. This might just be like a proving ground for something completely and wildly different. We don't really understand what this technology is even supposed to be developed for. So for me, I'm kind of just like, let's just wait and see. If they were to come out and be like, hey, Ghost is Yote is going to be using AI for their main characters, I'd be like, hold up, I don't want that.
Yeah,
Ghost of AI.
That will make me like as a consumer really double check like where my money's going and stuff like that. Yeah. But if this is just kind of like a test ground for something even deeper, I don't know. I'm not on that side of development and stuff like that. Right now, I'm just kind of like whatever, just kind of let the ball roll with it.
I know. There's some people were kind of giving like if you were to like do something silly, like you broke like a bunch of vases or something like that, then the guy like if the AI character will like react like, hey, what are you doing that for? Like, what's your problem? But then they already have. I mean, I know they have scripts for that as well. But I guess if they don't have the script for that, then the AI will like react to that in type of way. So. But then I'll be like, well, who cares? So like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just gonna say like the AI they should be using is to make their development like a lot. Like instead of one guy putting in 1 tree, 2 trees, be like, hey, make a whole land full of trees for me. Like you're supposed to like assist you. Yeah, help improve, help artists, not take their jobs and everything. Just to help. Like the process goes smoothly instead of like, oh, this is gonna take 3 months to do this, type of thing. Where, like the same thing. I see it as how with Unreal Engine, where they making like sets as well,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's like AI is still so scary because I think like for people in the industry, we're pretty much on the same page. Mm-hmm. However, consumers that are outside of the industry, I'm really wondering if they'll even know the difference. Like, obviously, if it's like really poorly done, they'll notice, there'll be complaints. But if it's well done, it's hard for me to see general consumers really say that's going to like make their experience worse. And that's the sad part because it's like at the end of the day, you have less artists working on games that are well done and being compensated for their work and the foundation that they're laying for these games. And that overall will hurt the industry in the long run. it just takes time to see that, and we're not at that phase yet where you will see the hurt right away on the large scale for regular consumers to really acknowledge it.
And to that point, Camille, the game that came into my mind was the finals, where the announcers of that game were being done by AI and everything. And unless you were privy within the industry or even generally cared, I don't think that you would have picked up on it, or to like bat an eye, because you'd be like, they're just voices updating me on the game's progression. Like, it really, like, again, I think it does cross that line where it is just good enough to be passable, but not so offensive that you're like, oh, why does it sound so weird? Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting next few years in the industry.
I guess just the only thing that I worry about in that regard is like, when you give them just that tiny bit of leeway, they feel that they can get away with a lot more.
Exactly.
Because I mean, I agree with you, right? Like when you look at the finals, it's just like it's a very minute thing, it's a very small thing, but giving them that pass means that maybe next time they'll just let all the voices be AI, you know, like, and it's just I don't know, it's definitely one of those things that we have to tread lightly on. We have to keep a close eye on. I think a lot of voice actors or SAG for the video game side of things is still on strike, as far as I'm aware. So I know that like people like Yuri Lowenthal, right? Like, and he lends the voice to Peter Parker Spider-Man, and it's a big PlayStation property. Like, how would he feel about certain things like this? And that's his co-star, right? Like, that's Laura Bailey, the voice of Aloy. And so I don't know. All this stuff is just we have to take caution, and I guess we'll see how things progress. Even though it may seem inoffensive for the time, we don't know where it could go.
For sure. And I think a lot of it is analyzing and understanding what responsible uses of AI is going to be, because I mean, like, even look at Call of Duty, where again, to the unseen eye, a lot of skins or a lot of like art pieces are being made using AI. And for general consumers who are just playing Call of Duty and not really online like the rest of us, like, oh, it's cool, a new skin in the shop, I'll go out and buy it and everything. So I think it's up to us and like the general industry to kind of be like, yes, sure, you might like it, but this came at a detriment of an artist that put in time and effort into creating this. It is so different in terms of its quote unquote worth. In my opinion, that I think it's just a conversation that's worth having.
Right.
Yeah, definitely agree. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Jam-packed episode under an hour? How's that even possible? Bravo. Round of applause, bro. That's crazy. Wonderful. That's crazy. That's crazy. Steve, Stranding, what you got for you for the rest of the week?
I'm just gonna be ripping that Death Stranding 2 trailer over and over again, just pouring over that, because that was a hoot and a holler. But no, I've got some games on the go. Yes, Camille, it was a hoot and a holler. Thank you. No, I'm just gonna be hanging out. Playing some games. Just playing some games. That's all.
Yep.
Getting ready for Verdansk.
Oh, we didn't even get a chance to talk about Verdansk.
I mentioned it on
we got
the
some
beach.
Verdanskites in here.
Yeah.
Verdanskites.
April
Verdanskers?
is going to go so hard.
Verdanskineers.
Yeah.
I love the comments like underneath the like reveal for Verdansk. People were like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get like slide canceled by Ninja Turtle."
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh, there you go. Verdansk. Can't wait. Steve on the beach. How about yourself, man?
Just basically just making my podcast, Gaming Insight Daily, on my YouTube channel, and then streaming pretty much every day this week. But then also I'm excited because on Friday I'll be finally jumping into WWE 2K25, so I'll be streaming that all day.
Go.
Yeah, so
Make sure to use those locker codes. Get some Persona cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So
Cool.
yeah, just at Steve Saylor pretty much everywhere.
Cool. Caboose.
Yeah, outside of my my 2-page 12-point font written apology to Steve Saylor and the big hug that I owe him. I think we can say that I'm playing. I have Assassin's Creed.
You're allowed
we can say it. Yeah,
I can't say any thoughts or
We're allowed to
impressions
say.
just yet. We have it. We're playing it. And
we'll have the review
hoping,
next week, though.
We're hoping to get a review to you guys soon, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So I'm jumping to that. Also, this weekend is Toronto Comic Con.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone here is going to be attending or if any of our listeners would be there, but would love to see you there. I might show up as Dr. Doom, I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's it. And then playing a lot more and yelling a lot more about Marvel Rivals. That's for sure. And yeah, just getting frustrated with my teammates. That's how it goes. That's it though. You can check me out Twitter and Instagram at CabooseEK, youtube.com/Caboose.
Cool. Camille?
Yeah, apologies to Steve writing that up. But then also I am going to be I've been watching a lot of oh my god, why am I not Spider-Man on Amazon? That is such a good cartoon. Like
Which one?
Wait, you mean on Disney?
One. Oh my god, Disney.
The new one. The new one, yes.
I think we went to 90s animated. I was like, what?
No, well, I mean, I always
that one's good too.
I feel like the world's ending. So, but no, this is such a good cartoon. Like, it's crazy how they rewrote the stories and like the origin stories, but then still make them come out. Oh my. Anyways,
really good stuff.
Anyways, okay. So I'm watching that, and then also, what else am I doing? Getting ready for Verdansk, and then also Siege X reveal in a day, 2 days. When does?
Oh yeah,
it's
I've been getting ads for that
on my birthday, Camille.
Oh, your birthday! Oh my god!
I have a birthday.
Getting ads
yes,
for
believe
that.
it or not, I have a birthday. Yes, it's on my birthday, which is on Thursday, and then I have Comic-Con as well. I'll stop by on Friday. So
nice.
yeah.
Happy early birthday, Marcel.
Well, thank you. How dare they not tell my day? I didn't ask for this.
I know.
Marcel, I will not wish you a happy birthday until it's your birthday.
Thank you. How dare you? I don't want no early access wishes, okay? No, thank you.
Birthday wishes as a
day
service?
of, no, thank you. Thank you so very much. But I will see you all here next week, and take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.